When a man has two wives, God's justice amid human choices. Introduction. Begin by reading the passage. If a man has two wives, one loved and the other unloved, and both the loved and the unloved have borne him children, and if the firstborn son belongs to the unloved, he must acknowledge the firstborn, the son of the unloved wife, by giving him a double share of all he has. That son is the first sign of his father's strength. The right of the firstborn belongs to him. Deuteronomy 21:15-17. Highlight the context. This passage reflects a situation in ancient Israel where polygamy was practiced. It addresses fairness and justice within a flawed system, not God's ideal for marriage. God's justice in an imperfect situation. The reality of polygamy. Polygamy was common in ancient cultures for social, economic, and political reasons. Though tolerated, it often led to jealousy, division, and hardship, e.g. Jacob, Leah, and Rachel in Genesis 29:30. God's concern for justice. This law ensures fairness and protects the rights of the firstborn, regardless of the father's personal feelings. It reflects God's character. He is a God of justice who defends the marginalized and ensures equality. Psalm 68:5. Lessons for today. Even if broken systems, God's justice prevails. This passage reminds us to treat everyone with fairness and impartiality regardless of personal preferences or biases. The heart of the issue, love and responsibility. Love versus favoritism. The passage highlights a common issue in polygamous relationships, favoritism. Favoritism creates division and pain, as seen in the story of Joseph and his brothers, Genesis 37:3-4. The role of the father. The father is called to rise above personal feelings and fulfill his responsibilities with integrity. This principle applies to all relationships. Fairness and justice should guide our actions even when emotions are involved. Application for families today. Parents must guard against favoritism and ensure they treat all children with equal love and care. Reflect God's impartial love in your family relationships. Romans 2:11. God's ideal for marriage and relationships. Polygamy versus God's design. While this law addresses polygamy, it does not endorse it as God's ideal. Genesis 2:24. Man shall leave his father and mother and hold fast to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. Jesus reaffirmed this in Matthew 19:4-6, emphasizing monogamy as God's original plan. God's grace and brokenness. God works within human imperfection to bring about his purposes. Despite the challenges of polygamy, God used individuals like Jacob, David, and Solomon to fulfill his covenant promises. Christ as the perfect husband. Marriage is a picture of Christ's relationship with the church. Ephesians 5:25-27. Christ loves his bride, the church, with perfect faithfulness and devotion, setting the standard for human relationships. Conclusion and call to action. Deuteronomy 21:15-17 teaches us about fairness, justice, and responsibility, even in less than ideal circumstances. Reflect on your relationships. Are you treating others with fairness and love? Seek to align your life with God's ideal for relationships, trusting in his grace to guide you. Closing prayer. Pray for wisdom to navigate relationships with fairness and love, and for strength to reflect God's justice and grace in our lives.